We have the return of Lightsworn. Generators aren't far behind. And we have Zoo as well. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. This is actually really cool to see because, honestly, Fiendsmith, in combination with testing out the waters with Lightsworn, doesn't necessarily seem like a bad deck. Now, obviously, you know, we don't have Moon of the Closed Heaven anymore, which is kind of a big concession hit that you're kind of going to cry about. But, I mean, hey, you get access to Lacrima now, which is a completely different discussion for what you can do. Because now this makes getting access to the Wave King Kaiser all the more easier for you to be able to do your thing. And also, Globe Bulb's back. You know, there's a lot of interesting things that you can kind of test out and, you know, work with. Now, obviously, you know, you're playing Lightsworn. Your goal is to spin around as much of the synchro outlet as you can to be able to, you know, get those bodies so you can do your thing. And also, you know, get the Punishment Dragon set up so you're good to go. I also do see we are main decking the Book of Eclipses. This is just going to be to make sure that, you know, we can crack the opponent's field and be able to kind of get that turbo set up so you can do your thing. This is nothing new right now. Book of Eclipse has been used a lot recently to be able to crack through those fields and be able to kind of do the thing. It's become like the new flavor, I feel like, at this point. I also do see we're playing a Black Goat Laughs. This is just on supplement in case, you know, you do mill this as you kind of are going through the combo. It is going to be a piece that you can be able to try to paralyze the opponent with. And I think that in itself is going to be a pretty cool thing to see. But you got a lot of good pieces built into this. I think the theory is here. I would just recommend maybe exploring and testing out some other waters with the build. Ooh, now this is some sauce. We actually have Generaider K9. Now, I do want to say you will have access to Nori very soon. Nori will help this deck have a little bit more gas. But the thing is, Loptor is probably always going to be the monster that you do want to see trying to hit the field. The cool thing is now, you can make sure that you have easier access to Jormungandr because, you know, the K9 stuff is going to be here to interrupt the opponent. Now, the other cool thing here is the Generator stuff does not take up a lot of extra deck slots. You are going to have immediate access to these big monsters, but you only need 2 of them to kind of do the thing. And also, hilariously enough, Werewolf is a 9, so you can actually, I kid you not, you can actually hard make the Werewolf in this deck to actually punish the opponent. So you actually do have a field of really weird natural synergy with this deck because, you know, the big generators will be able to kind of do the thing. I also see we are playing Trice in here. That's going to be another level 9 for you to kind of play around with. Outside of that, I think 2 chaotic elements is fine. The point of, honestly though, do you want more Case of the Canine or do you want more chaotic elements? I can make an argument for either or. With more Canine running around as time's going on, I do think that you are going to want more access to the chaotic elements just to be able to take control of something that the opponent has. It's just, having that mirror match solution is way more important than you actually realize. All right, time to turn our eyes off and our hearts off for some Zoodiac because this deck is ignorant central. Though I do see that we've gone a little bit of a different route than I would like to try to do. Now, I do see that we're kind of clutching onto the copium here of relying on floodgates, kind of punish the opponent. Now, unfortunately, in 2025, the best deck in the room, which is Yummy, does not care about Goes and Match and Rivalry. These are not real cards to them. So I would immediately cut these and I would try doing some other things. Now, the other thing here is you've just chosen to play this deck as a rank 4 turbo box. And that is your first mistake, because there's not a single Zeus down in this extra deck. And that is going to be one of the biggest things that is going to kill this version of the deck. I assume a lot of people are going to look at Zoo and they're going to have the same thought process. They're going to go, oh, hey, you know, we have access to Trident. This changes things. No, it's another overlay material for you to turbo Zeus. I think if you're trying to play the deck like this, you're coping too much in the past. And you need to accept that Zoo has evolved into a generative board clearing machine that can possibly end on a Trident beside it. I mean, Barrage is just here to make sure that you can toss the extra body on the field to play through any potential interruptions that the opponent would have. So I do highly recommend shifting gears with this and testing out other things. But I mean, for a casual locals experience, it might have Zeus banned for a casual night. Yeah, give this a shot, man. Next up here, we have Orcust. You know, I gotta tell you, having access to Fiendsmith cards in this is gonna feel gosh darn broken, because you're gonna get the best of both worlds, because you get the Lacrima into the Wave King Kaiser for the level of protection that you want, because I don't want to lose to a stupid hand trap Nibiru. Granted, I mean, you're going to have probably all the pieces down with the Babel running anyway, so that's not really going to be much of a concern. At this point in time, you're making one of two decisions, all right? If I'm going down the Lacrima, spinning into this, means I'm afraid of Nib. If not, I'm just going to set up a Desiree, have all of the extra protection loaded up, and then my opponent's going to have to deal with, you know, all of that. And honestly, that's a lot. That's more than I feel like the average deck is really going to be able to kind of handle. So, takeaways from this. Orcust Fiendsmith is still going to be a deck. If you don't want to play the Lurie, you can try the quick play spell card, but I feel like because, you know, you're playing this deck probably in a sense of going second, you don't want that. You just want to be able to track into the Lurie, use that to kind of bait up some hand traps and go. Because, I mean, that's one thing that Fiendsmith package is always going to be good at. It's there, it eats through hand traps. The opponent's just going to stare at it and they're going to go, oh, yeah, I mean, what am I really supposed to do about that? That's the whole point. You're there to eat through Ingo, and it usually does a good job at it. But once again, this is the evolutions. Like, Orcust is still here, people. This deck hasn't left. You know, you just got to make some concessions with, you know, plays. Ooh, we have Dracotail. Now, cool news is, I mean, post Justice Hunters, or post Doom of Dimension, you don't really have to evolve much with this deck. You know, you got most of the pieces that you want. Now, you do see that we are playing the Dark End in here. I'm surprised we're not testing out the Light End. I do feel like that the Light End Sublimation does help out a lot of kind of like the better play lines that you might be trying to get access to, but I guess I can understand. I also do see that we have Fenrir's in here, just so that, you know, you have the extra extensions to be able to special and do your thing. We're also not playing the tack talents in the main. We're also not focusing on the Call by the Grave in here. We just wanted to make sure that we had access to the Blazing Cartesias, just as like the little extra special summon extensions to go. I also see we are playing Philia Regius in here. To be fair, I think this is fine. You're not focusing on the Dragon Maid stuff, which usually makes this a little bit easier than some of the other concessions that you're kind of working with. You're just, obviously, big guy here. His purpose is to kind of make your life a little bit easier as you're kind of going through and getting the setup. But I think that this deck is good. Going with 1 Pan, 2 Urgola works out too. You have a lot of cool innovations, as you've seen, and a lot of discussion points here as well with how the meta is developing. I'm very curious to know how things are going to shape up here in the future, but that will have to wait. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys.
Patrons!
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.